the first few days it's kind of not difficult, but it's a little hard to figure out, like, you know, there are a bunch of girls who are returning and new people, so it's kind of interesting to like figure out who your friend group is and talking to people, but everyone's really welcoming, so that wasn't too hard. Other than that, I don't think there's much.
Yeah, something that I experienced a lot in my first and second years was homesickness, because I had never really been away for that long before. And so while I was there on the first few nights, I definitely had a lot of those feelings where I was just missing home, and I was like having a good time, but then there'd be moments where, you know, we weren't really doing anything, and I started thinking about home, and I would get really sad. But the counselors were just like so good at helping me with that. So were all the girls, but I remember just the counselors being super, you know, knew exactly what to do, like was asking me, you know, what I felt like I needed, and really just, you know, sat with me and was there for me until I felt better, and then checked in on me, you know, throughout the session.
Well, okay, the first time I went to GL, I was entering 7th grade, and it was a longer program. It was a 3-week program. And I went there with one of my friends who was also going at the same time, but she was a year younger. And I remember writing the first day home. So she was just staying for half of the time. That's key important information. And I remember writing home and saying, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to be able to survive this entire experience once Sydney leaves, because there's no one else here that I know, and I was so scared, and I was not talking to my roommate, and I was so shy. And then I literally the next day, I remember writing again to my parents. I wrote a lot that year, saying like, oh my gosh, I just had the most amazing day. It's so much fun here. I want to come back every year. So I think it happens quickly that you just kind of fall into this pace, and the time goes by so quickly. But yeah, I definitely have felt homesick during times, and sometimes it's more than others. And personally, I like writing letters back, and I love getting them back too. And I think that's a really good way for me to deal with homesickness. But I also know the first time I went, I had my mom pre-write me letters and give them to me in a box so I could open them at camp if I was really feeling homesick.
And I definitely think that, you know, you can make an effort before camp, just like what Sophia was saying, to sort of, you know, make sure that once you reach that point where you're like, oh, I kind of miss my family, you can, you know, do something, have your parents, you know, pre-write letters, or just do anything, just, you know, little things that can help along the way. You can also talk to an adult. All of the adults in the camp are so open to talking about, you know, how you're feeling and, you know, what's going on in your life. And then when we have advisory during the day, it's basically a small group where you really, I found, you just talk more about how your life is going and how, you know, you were adjusting to whatever is going on and, you know, just your everyday. I found that we talked a lot about homesickness, and a lot of girls felt a lot better after advisory because, you know, they knew that everyone else was sort of feeling the same way, and that they had people that they could trust, and that they had people that they could rely on. And I felt like after that, it was just so much easier. Every single day, day by day, it gets better and better and better.